Hi, I'm Faye. I'm running for VP Membership Clubs and Societies for the QM, and I'll be answering questions for the Guardian today.
Hi Faye, so can you tell me, what's your opinion on the current VP for Membership Clubs and Societies?
Current membership, I love her. I've worked with her when I was on board. I was on Fresher Week committee with her last year, so I'm coming into this with knowledge of what I'm getting into, and I completely appreciate everything she's done. I thought she ran Fresher Week last year really well, and yeah, I really do like Una. I think it's not it's not an easy position to do. It's a strong, challenging job, and I think she's done it very well.
And can you tell me a wee bit about your experience in student bodies and how that will help you in this role?
Yes, so October 2015, I ran for to be a CSR at the QM. I got in and I was just running for that, just getting used to that. I really liked being on board, and then for my second half, I ran for CCSR, which is convener of the current student representatives, which I then got as well, which meant that I was then representing them when it came to Freshers Week for the QMU with the committee last year. So I've got a lot of experience for running for that, and basically the inner workings of the QM from that. Obviously, I don't know everything that goes into VP, because it's something that's very different to just being even a convener. And then I'm also currently doing my second year as being treasurer of the Harry Potter Society, and which I love doing. I'm a big Potterhead, and I also, as part of that, we work with now 7 other different societies with the Nerd Collaboration, which I've somehow ended up heading. So the last few events with the Nerds collaborations done, so that was a Kaylee like a month or so ago at the QM, and a Mixer that we did during Freshers Week last year, also at the QM, that I've been helped organise and headed up running those as well, which means I've had a lot of experience in not only the inner workings of the QM, but also what it's like to be an outside force working for the QM, especially since I came off board last October. So I've had a few months of just being with the society, trying to organise stuff through the QM, which I think has given me a perspective that a lot of other VP membership club society people before me may have had, but maybe not to the extent that I have, especially running big events that have sometimes brought in, 100, 200 people to the building.
Yeah, that's great. So your manifesto also promises a fair amount of online improvements. Mm-hmm. So I'm just wondering, are you sure that you can achieve this, especially without spending a lot of money on hiring IT experts?
Well, I know that at least one of the points, one of my biggest online points, which was the online viewership of the booking situation. I know that's already something that's in the process. That'll be me just picking up the mantle and carrying it onwards, which is probably the biggest one. The other stuff about changing the website, I know just from when I've been in this university, the website's changed multiple times. I mean, I really like the one it's at now. I remember when I first came, it was a mess, and it's really improved since then. And I think just the stuff I want to do, the website in particular, wouldn't be particularly big changes. And the stuff for social media, all you need to go is be an admin and just change it automatically. And we have specifically PR people, and the exec can just do it as well if they're an admin on the page. So I think the bigger stuff that may have cost more money, I think, is already happening. So we're just taking it up the mantle, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. And you mentioned increasing the visibility of benefits for the QM, but do you think that's enough to increase membership at the QM without improving the benefits at all?
I think it is, mainly because the benefits we have at the moment we've already given you there's already discounts on drinks and food and entry to events, and that is what a student membership for a union should be. Anything more, I think we're just trying to compete with nothing, because just like a GU membership, you get 2 or 3 quid off an entry to an event that we're doing, and I think to add something on top would just be to try and make it so it's I think it would just be too much. It would look like we're trying a bit too hard there, but so I think what we've got at the moment is great. I think it's more just letting people know it's a thing, because I literally had a friend last week who was asking how to sign up to vote for me. I showed him how, and he was like, "Oh cool, what can I get with that?" He's been at this uni for almost 3 years and he had no clue. And when I told him, you can get a pint for 2 quid now, he was ecstatic about that. So I think what we have already is perfectly well, and I think, again, going back to even your first question about, she brought a lot of that stuff in, which is, I think, is wonderful, and I think we just need to promote ourselves on that.
Okay. Your manifesto as well, it only mentions Freshers Week in relation to signing up new members.
Yes.
So I was wondering, is that all that Freshers is for?
It was what I view my particular position on the board to be a member. That, and because VP Clubs and Religious Societies organises Freshers for the union overall. They don't run specific things in Freshers. That's more the convener's sort of choice. So I view it more as me making sure the events staff get what the events people get what the social make sure they get what they want to do. The VP board gets to implement what they want to do. And I think it's more just an organisational thing role for that. And I'm sure there'll be some other stuff that I will think of later that I want to do if I do get the position, but I do view it as more as a supporting role to make sure it runs smoothly and everyone has, especially the conveners, because it's the busiest time for whatever they're doing, especially events and social. They are so busy throughout Freshers Week, and I think it's more supporting to make sure they can do what they want to do, because they will have some, I'm sure, amazing ideas of what they want to do, and I think I should just help them getting that done, because I think that's the best way for Freshers to run.
Okay. So, I was wondering, do you know how many people were at the hustings last night?
I want to guess 20 to 30, but I didn't check. Mainly because if I knew I checked, I would get more nervous.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know it was a very low amount, especially compared to last year, which was very small.
Yeah, we heard it was roughly 20.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering, are you concerned about this turnout, and what could you do to increase this next year?
I was a little bit concerned, but I also understood it because apart from the position I was in, it was uncontested, which I can see people going, well, I know all of these people are going to get it because there's no one against them, so there's no point going and asking about them. I think the way to contest it is to have more contested positions, and that is something I think we can do by just increasing the visibility of the QM, and also be something I'll be working just as an exec member as general to help improve. And I know Charles, who's running for VP board, he's definitely got some ideas that he wants to do to improve not only attendance for hustings, but people running in the elections. So it would mainly be me helping them and whoever gets elected as president to get numbers up in the building.
Okay. And my final question here is just, if you are elected or successful in this, are you going to put this role on your CV?
I mean, probably. I'm going to put everything else I've put in. I've got it on my CV.
Yeah.
Yes, I think it's less the position. It's the more the skills it will get, because when with the CV, they're not asking what position you hold, it's what the skills you get from those roles. So it'll be, I have team working, team people management, and then I'll use the role to describe examples of, because that's how you're meant to do it, right?
Yeah, I totally agree. It's just obviously a reference to the posters that are put around, which
yes, I've seen them.
Maybe get a little bit cynical and maybe even contributing to the kind of low turnout at these events.
I could see that, but I think it's definitely a pushing point, because it is 100% a good thing for your CV. I just think you should do it for also other reasons, because you want to improve something, you want to do something for the union, not just so you can go to your CV and make sure you actually have an example of team working, because you can just join a society, for example, if you want to show an example of team working, which is perhaps a little less work as well, so you have to be able to commit to the role as well. It's more than just a CV thing, even though it does help.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.